First thing we need to talk about are barrier devices that are specifically for CPR. And I imagine y'all already know about what's called personal protective equipment by OSHA. And that's your basic personal protective equipment is, of course, gloves for your hands. That's the most important place to protect because of non-intact skin. The second most important place would be our mouth and our nose. We protect that with a surgical mask or a particulate respirator. And we also have to protect our eyes from bodily fluids, potential bodily fluids entering with safety goggles or safety glasses. That's your basic personal protective equipment. In addition to that, you have certain OSHA and CDC approved barrier devices, and some of them fall within the range of CPR. So we always like to familiarize you with these. Now the first one I'm going to show you is one that's out there rather in larger numbers than this next one I'm going to show you, but they're both CDC and OSHA approved. It's a pocket mask, and y'all may have seen one of these before. They may come in different containers. They may have different colors, but the shape is always going to be the same. Say, square at the bottom, triangle at the top. You have some instructions generally on the back, a little pamphlet in the middle. By the time you read them, you might as well not do CPR. So we need to get familiarized with these at the start here. Now, I think with your defibrillator that y'all have here, the ones that I've seen, you have one very similar to the one I have here, except it's a one piece. About 75% of them are two pieces though. So when you open it up, about 75% of the time you'll have two pieces here. About 25% of the time one piece. Here's the problem. If the mouthpiece is already on here, we have to make the box bigger. They don't like making boxes bigger. So, but if you take it out and you only have one piece, you really only have one step to do in order to use it. And that's to take your thumbs underneath here and push up and push it into a dome shape. Now once that's dome shaped, if we have to, we've got to put on the mouthpiece with a one-way valve. And this mouthpiece with a one-way valve, they designed these so you can't make a mistake. So if you try it on one way in this shaft, it doesn't fit. If you try it on the other way, it slides right down on there and makes a nice squeaky seal. Once it's assembled, it's ready to use. The triangular aspect always goes to the top of the patient's face. And with the airway open, head tilted, chin lifted, we're basically going to make a C with one hand and put it at the top, make a C with the other hand, put at the bottom, and basically we just press down on our C's here. Get a good seal around the patient's face and deliver the rescue breath right in his little hole. And we're kind of always looking at a corner eye to see if the chest rises. If it rises slightly, let off your rescue breath. No reason to blow them up like a Macy Day balloon. They'll float away. So just enough air to watch the chest rise and fall. We're not going to try to overinflate or over-respirate because in those situations, air can spill out of the respiratory tract into the digestive tract, and when that happens, things can get messy. And we're also going to have a second or two pause in between rescue breaths, and that way, whenever we won't be overloading the respiratory tract, so it spills over to the digestive tract. Just a second or two pause so that the chest naturally recoils before you give the second breath. Very good barrier device. Now the one that y'all have in there, I think is one piece. So whenever you take it out of the box, heaven forbid you ever do it, you take it out of the box and you just put your thumbs underneath there and push up, and that's basically you're all ready to go. It's already in one piece. Now the next one I'm going to show you is called a micro shield, and they're used a lot of times in clinical settings, and they're a little bit less bulky. And the micro shield very often will come in a little container like this. It might say micro shield all over it. This is a little fancier version here. I'll show you both, but they're both the same. They're both constructed the same way. In order for these to be OSHA and CDC compliant, they have to have a one-way valve in them and a HEPA filter. And these designs do have that. Now the micro shield does not look anything like the pocket mask. We have an elongated shaft on one side, and we have a plastic sheath on the other side, and you probably see that little white HEPA filter in the middle there. Got a little one-way valve on the back side if any bodily fluids were to come up or stomach contents. Now the micro shield is also very easily used. Once again, with the airway open, head tilted, chin lifted, we're basically just going to insert this into the patient's mouth and let it fall over the patient's face. Pinch the nostrils. You don't have full face coverage with this. And to deliver the rescue breath right in that little hole right there. Once again, I always look at a corny eye to see if that chest rises slightly. If it rises slightly, let off your rescue breath. These can only be used on adults and children. This design cannot be used on infants because this shaft would could damage the upper palate or the tongue of the infant. So this is only for adults and children. This pocket mask that I showed you, this is an adult/child size. And this adult/child size is much smaller in the infant model. So in actuality, you have to have two sizes to cover all age groups. You have to have the adult/child model and the infant model, but it's much, much smaller. What if you didn't have a barrier device? Let's say you were at Walmart or Food Line or somewhere like that, somewhere you didn't know the people, and somebody just fell out beside you, passed out, and you want to help them, but you don't want to give them a big kiss that morning. Maybe you haven't brushed your teeth. Maybe you don't have the false teeth. We have a little variation that we can do, and that's called hands-only CPR or compressions-only CPR.